when it comes to business, it's all about being responsible and accountable to yourself. Some wise lessons already shared by Rushab from Tutor Hive. Welcome to the session, Rushab. How are you?
Hey, very good, thank you. How you doing, Amit?
Doing fantastic. Thank you for taking time out to continue helping me educate the business community out there. But let's go straight into it, Rushab. Tell us a bit about your business, what kind of services you provide.
Great, yeah. So TutorHype is an AI-powered learning platform connecting students with teachers based on their personality. We've taken that approach to both the education for school kids, but also to the corporate learning and mentoring space as well.
Brilliant. Love it. So you kind of leverage one piece of technology across two huge markets. Love the sound of that. So you've got a specific target market or target markets right now. Talk us through the importance of setting a target audience from your perspective and what you'd like to share with the business community out there. Why is it important to have a target market?
Target market's key because everyone takes information different ways, and everyone absorbs content in a different way. And we have a really interesting split on this, where we've got the consumer market, which is the parents, the tutors, the teachers, and we've got this
Mhm.
corporate market as well, and where we're targeting the likes of Barclays, banks, etc., who are rolling the platform out. So we have this split, but what we've found really clear is that you're still selling to people, so you need to know
Mhm.
what sort of person you're selling to. That CEO you might be selling into also has kids. And when you talk about your story, it's all about being open and honest. And so what we've found with having your key target is, what are those key points off your story that are
Mhm.
going to be of most interest? So for example, within the parent space, I used to do loads of work with kids with disabilities and worked with every single sort of disability. Kids with autism was the most common one. And that is a story that I will tell and something that I lead with whenever I'm talking to a parent, because not only does it add credibility, it gives them the feeling and the reassurance that I know what it's about. I'm not a
Yeah.
teacher, I'm a mechanical engineer by background, but I know my stuff. And that's important because at the end of the day, that won't be so relevant for the corporate space. When I'm talking to corporate, I'll talk about my previous work in a
Mm.
corporate leading up the digital strategy for a large engineering consultancy. And therefore, this is what I found. I know that compliance training is boring. So, having your key customer helps you define how you need to talk to them to bring them along that journey. Because at the end of the day, everyone's got awesome products. It's just, how
Absolutely.
do you make sure you can cut between all the chaos out there to try and get that right point that you need someone to understand.
And it's so refreshing to hear that somebody that's relatively new in the builder business has got that key principle correct about talk to your audience. You've got a great product, but what do they want to hear? What kind of stories they want to hear? And it's so important for other business owners to really put that almost forefront of almost anything they do. How do
Mm.
the customers hear it? But let's take this one step forward now. Um, so last 3 years, you've been building a tech platform with this AI piece of technology in there as well to attract customers. Um, what advice would you give to business owners who could do with a bit of AI in their business, but not knowing where to start, how to use it? What would your first initial kind of bits of advice to them be?
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, AI is all the rage, right? Everyone's like, yeah, you're using ChatGPT, using Claudio, Dali, yeah, all these different things, and there's lots out there. So the first thing is, be clear on, what you want it for, right?
Mm,
What bit if your business is either mundane, annoying, tough, it's almost like you're recruiting. Think of anytime you bring some sort of AI into the business, it's like a recruitment type thing. You don't bring someone and take the task that you do really well,
yeah,
right? You bring someone into the task you don't do so well. So there are every different tools under the sun for it. And a lot of them are so easy to access now. You can single sign on with your Google Mail account and just be signed in. And most of them have free trials. So for example, we within the business started to look at, how can we create an AI algorithm that goes and transcripts every single meeting or a
mm,
lesson between the student and the tutor, and then gives a summary of that session. We thought, okay, let's build this out, but someone's already done it,
yeah,
right? There's a couple of companies out there, and we thought, actually, let's not build it ourselves. Let's just go and see what's out there, trial it internally, give it a go. I
yeah.
think a lot of people get phased by this wall in front of them. Oh my god, I need to do AI stuff. AI stuff everyone's talking about, and they don't just actually try it. It's not complicated. It's really not simple. The AI has been around for years, right? It's
Yeah.
nothing new. The bit that's new is how we can engage with it. The reason ChatGPT did so well is because it had a simple text dialogue user interface. You put some text in and it gives it back. Before that wasn't the case. right?
Hmm.
It's nothing new, right? It's just the interface, the ability to integrate that in, add it in, etc. It's just made it so much easier. So I think, yeah, the two bits is first of all, just give things a go. If you think it's a good idea, just try it. And you don't have to try it with your clients, try it internally to start with, like we've done. And the second bit is why don't just, work out what you're trying to automate. What bits are the most painful, what takes you the most amount of time, what do you not want to do? And
Hmm.
then be really clear on what it is, like, map that flow out and then look for the tool that would be best for it.
Amazing. So I'm loving your mindset over here about just giving things a try rather than dismissing things right from the onset, because we may not know what it is, how it works, giving it a go because that could open doors. Talking of opening doors, your business is all about opening doors for the students or students in whichever respect, whether in the corporate world or the children's education world. Um, how have you gone about opening doors for your business, and what kind of advice would you give to business owners out there about opening doors? Because often, when times are tough, and you opened your business during COVID, things don't fall in your lap. Actually, you got to go and create opportunities. What would be your key advice or mindset proposition for business owners to opening doors for themselves?
Perfect. I love this question because what it's for me, from my own experience, it's you can't stand under an apple tree waiting for apples to drop. You've got to shake the tree. You've
Ooh,
got to put
I
yourself
love
out there.
it.
You've got to be active. You got to vibrate the thing that you're talking about. And that's for me what made it really hard whilst I was running a business and starting it up whilst working full time, which when I
Yeah,
had to jump, right? You have to take that step. There has to be the brand. You
yeah.
If I asked you to name the CEO of any car company that wasn't Elon Musk and Tesla, you'd struggle, right? If I asked you to name the CEO of any large tech company that wasn't Bill Gates or Zuckerberg, again, you'd struggle because we're now in a time where people follow the individual and you've got
Mm,
to create your own aura of inspiration, influence, etc. So if you're a shy entrepreneur or a founder, you've got to get yourself out. You can't build things internally anymore in such a connected world, right? And the theory of is it luck, is it right time, right place, is it the thing coming falling down, you've got to put yourself out there and create your own opportunity. So for me the big unlock was joining a couple of networking groups or communities of good people, again hard to find.
yeah,
People are not just there to sell to you, people who've done things more. I mean, that there's always that adage of that you're the average of the five people you hang out with, but it's actually more about everyone's got the most incredible network. Um,
yeah.
so tapping into and helping other people first, and then it will come back. So a really good example is I have a friend who runs an e-commerce brand, and I used to run a vintage clothing company as talk about my teeth, and I just gave her loads of advice, helped her out loads. And what actually happened was invited her to a pitch event. We were running a tutor hive. So I like what you're doing, got her brother involved, and he then invested. So it's not about going out to these events and saying I need you to help me on this. It's how can I help you? Um, be open about it and say, look, I'm doing this stuff, but I think I can help you. And when you start to do that, it will work. And that's helped me incredibly with my whole network building entirely. And it's probably a conversation for another day.
Mm.
But yeah,
Well, that's so refreshing to just go out there and help, and the world has got its own way of paying us back in spades when the time and opportunity is right for us as well. Love the sound of that. Looking forward. You've done really well to get this far in a challenging environment for what you do. You've jumped ship from a securely paid corporate job to now relying on yourself as well. And don't get me started. I know the butterflies that go through people's stomachs when they're making that jump.
yeah.
But looking ahead and the challenges ahead, say 3 years, what would you say for your specific business are going to be the top three challenges that you may be facing?
Okay. So number one is going to
Mm,
be scaling. So when we look at our 3-year plan, we're looking at taking over the UK market entirely. We're looking at expansion as well. So, scaling is, you've seen the Uber approach or delivery approach. You burn cash for days,
mm,
and it's very, very tough to get out of that and see profit. Business is a business at the moment. We've gone past the day we just build valuation based on the data. So, you've got to be able to show value in your business whilst you're scaling, which I think that's going to be an interesting challenge. The second challenge is everything around personal data and what you can do with it, right? So if I said to you 10 years ago, you'll have a little device in your pocket that's more powerful than the thing that got us to the moon and back, and it will tell someone else where you are 24/7.
Mm.
You're saying, oh, no, that's a mobile phone, right? So that level of privacy intrusion that we've accepted into our lives would not have been fathomable 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And as we're maturing on, the insights that can be generated from data and AI, the next challenge, which is going to be a huge challenge, on how do we navigate the value we're trying to add and create for our users, along with the mindfulness of, what's actually okay to do at what point. We know that eventually we're all going to let ourselves loose. We're happy for our phones to listen to us and then sell us some ads straight after. That happens, right? But it's only after a long amount of time. So us navigating this complex journey of responsible AI, how do we make sure it's using data in a way that's helping and that is clear to the end customer and the end users? So that's the second one. The third one, I think it's just, as we grow, we want to make sure we do it right. So many tech companies start off with a really good vision and ambition to change the world, do really well, and then they'll take on injection and cash, which is ultimately what every company needs to survive. And when you're in a tech company, you're building stuff first. Now, when you take on money, the one thing that people don't realize is someone's has control more than you do, which then means certain decisions are going to be made at a profit driver as opposed to a value driver. And you're creating a company like ourselves. We want to be really ethical. We want to make sure we're helping people. I want to go in, revolutionize the foster care system and help kids who can't afford the learning. And so, look, we can get people to sponsor it. That's the sort of thing we want to do. But it doesn't drive profit. And therefore, what you start to find is finding the right investors to come on the journey that allow us to do things in the right way for social benefit, as opposed to taking on cash and then changing the vision, the drivers, the motivators, the KPIs internally that are all down to money. So it's keeping and holding true to the values that we've set out as a business and holding that true regardless of how much money someone throws at us. So I think that's going to be the third challenge, because it's not easy, right? And, it's the world we're in, but it's the one that we've got to try and change.
No doubt, exactly. And there's no doubt you can work through this as well, given you're confident. Yes. But in closing, I'd like to ask you one question. You've kind of described yourself as somebody that's always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Even when in your corporate world, you were quite entrepreneurial, sniffing out opportunities, building out programs, generating revenues for your company, your employer. But let's rewind back X amount of years. I want to ask you what that X is. Let's just imagine you're 18 years old again, and you're going and you're looking to take your first step into business. What advice would you give to an 18-year-old going or thinking about going into business right now?
Ooh, it's a really, really interesting one. I think the first bit of advice I'd give is find something obviously you're passionate about, right? Something you enjoy. If you like cars, just think about the car sector, and then go into drill down into what specifically is interesting. I like supercars. Okay, cool. I like supercars. Now, I just want to spend my time around them. So I want to, you could start a blog. You could start to do the very, very low cost things that don't cost anything, actually are free to do as well. And what that means is you can start to grow a little bit of understanding of the ecosystem around it. There are loads of people in this environment. So, you can start to plug in as a result of that, find out who's doing what, where the gaps are. And that costs nothing other than a bit of your time. So just get immersed in that. Go to meetings, go to networking events. And what you'll start to do is you'll be able to work out within a sector all the massive gaps and the needs, the demands. And it might be marketing for a car rental company that they just don't know what to do, right? Or it might be someone who owns all these vehicles who doesn't know how to get them clean. You can say, okay, just connect these dots here. And it can be something simple. But once you've found what that is, you can then, push that, start to do that. And you don't need any money for any of this, right? So starting a business with nothing, starting a blog on LinkedIn or a free thing online, and then getting immersed into that community that are around that and reach out. So
Amazing.
It
makes absolute sense. You just keeping it brief, keeping it not really keeping it low cost, which is
Hmm.
often a good place to start. But the key thing you mentioned over there for me was find the gap in the market in an area you're interested in. Rushab, I've got to wrap it up over there. Thank you very much for your time. It's been so enlightening to talk to you. Got so many good points down today. And best of all, I like the colour jumper.
Ah, likewise. Cheers, Amit, and really
Great
appreciate
stuff.
your
Have a
time. It's been great to
wonderful
speak to you.
afternoon. Take care. And I'll speak
Take
to you
care.
later.
Bye.
Bye bye.